I wanted to make a quick video talking about how there's this big talk about always outsourcing everything and getting to the point where you outsource and step away from the business and really focus on thinking less and trying to actually get to the point of your business is big enough where you don't actually have to work in it anymore. And there's a time and a place for this. So a lot of people who might be watching this, whether it's now or maybe in 5 years' time, would know that it's a critical part where you have to take that step to step back from your business in order to let it flourish, because you've got to let people who are more specialized work in each and every field rather than you wear all the hats. And so that's what I really want to talk about today. I'm going to try and set this somewhere where I can sit here and talk. So let me get a chair. So basically, it's called this. Really, the analogy I put it together as is don't give the chef's hat to the waiter. And so what I mean by that is basically when you're outsourcing, there's a time and a place for it, like I said. And so when you're in the position of early growth, like I am with the supplement business, what I did, I'll tell a story to try and justify this, is that I have my manufacturer who's working on building the formula out and formulating it into its final product and shipping it to me when I need stock, right? So that's my manufacturer's role. That's his hat. That's a hat that I can't wear without obviously bearing costs to go into bankruptcy to have a warehouse to do that. But that's beside the point. What I'm trying to say is that now that the supplement formula is all good, I have to now look into getting packaging and designing for that packaging. Now, what I mean by not giving the chef's hat to the waiter is the fact that I need to understand that in order for me to be able to get the best possible results, I have to actually actively work on that job. Not saying that he can't do it, but by giving him that hat too, it takes less away from what I've actually reached out to him to specialize for. And so this is really important because this really indicates the fact that outsourcing is important, but it's about when you outsource. And so you should never outsource too early because you don't actually have the skills to be able to guide them in the direction that you want to go. And also, when we're talking about outsourcing to different individuals who already have jobs, you can't outsource to someone who's already got a job to do because you're hiring them to do a specific and specialized job. And how can you expect them to actually ace that job if you're giving them more jobs to worry about? There's more things for them to have to juggle. Now, as an entrepreneur, we obviously try and put ourselves in this frame of mind where we have to wear all hats at the start. And that's what makes us the owners of the businesses rather than people that work in them in the long run. And so when we're talking about someone like an employee, I've got someone like the manufacturer who I'm working with to get the formula. Now I need to find a designer to be able to put together the actual look of the product. And then I need to find someone who can manufacture the product side of things in terms of the packaging. Now the designer and the packaging manufacturer, they could be one of the same person depending on if they have that within the company. But even then, they have a specialized person for that specialized task. So then their sole focus, their sole reason for getting paid, their sole reason that they're putting their energy towards something is that goal. And so in order to get a good result, you want someone who can have that sole focus on that one thing. It's like that when you're playing school sport, for example, you've got that one kid who's obsessed with the sport that you're playing and he's always winning. It's because he eats, sleeps and breathes it. He goes home and he kicks the soccer ball. He kicks the soccer ball before school, kicks the soccer ball an hour before and after soccer training, so stuff like that. This person's obsessed. That's why you've got the Ronaldos, you've got the Messis. Well, depending if you're watching soccer right now or later, you might know who they are. But it's the same with business. You want someone who's able to dedicate their entire being to that role and then give them that role. You don't want to give them any other roles that take effort away from plan A because it's going to actually ruin the result for both, and then both are going to be average. Instead, you want one to be great and the other one to be great. So in order to do that, you give the chef's hat to the chef and the waiter, give him whatever hat the waiter wears. It's a metaphor. But this is what I'm starting to realize is that if you give them too much to juggle, like I did, things start becoming slow and you don't really get responses and you don't really get results either. So what I found was by giving my manufacturer the role of trying to find a packaging designer or a packaging manufacturer, results became slow and I didn't really find anyone that best aligned with what I want. But when I actually actively make time to wear that hat myself, then it becomes easier because that's actually something that I'm specialized in. Not in the sense that I can source manufacturers, but because I'm the entrepreneur, I'm the CEO, that is the hat that I wear. And it's the hat of being able to wear multiple hats, basically. And so I'm able to do that now because that's what's needed of me to be able to get the business to flourish and thrive. So how can that basically apply to your business? If you're an SMMA owner and you're trying to outsource one task, for example, I wouldn't know what an example would be. For example, running Facebook ads and you've never run Facebook ads before. Sure, it's possible, but you're never actually going to guide them exactly where you can or exactly where you want them to go unless you actually have the foundational experience yourself. It's the skill sets, it's the experiences, it's the memories, it's the hard lessons you've learned, the fails and wins. It's all that foundational experience and knowledge that you've got up here from your life that's actually going to better serve your business in the long run because you're able to bring yourself to the table. And that's going to be a very valuable asset. So, someone who can outsource that kind of stuff is still going to do well, but you're going to do far better on a larger time frame if you're able to actually play it smarter rather than faster. And that's the same thing I'm doing with my brand. Rather than rushing the product and slapping it all together, I'm taking my time. I'm giving the jobs to the right people now that I've learned this lesson, and I will continue to wear all the hats I need to get the business over the line until I can start outsourcing and giving those hats back to other people who are specialized, but at the right time. And so obviously wrapping up by saying it again, give the chef's hat to the chef and the waiter's hat to the waiter because they've been hired to do certain jobs. You can't give them other roles and expect them to perform just as good as that in their specialized roles because that's not what you hired them for. So if you ever think about who you're going to give tasks to, think about what you've actually brought them there for initially. And so this might be talking to someone who's a bit more established and has employees working under them, or maybe this is just simple advice for you to write down for when you do. Not that I can have an experience with employees, but I'd imagine it would be the principle of actually thinking about what tasks you need done, what skills are required to achieve that at the level you want, and then look back at the employees you have and see why you hired them and what skill sets they already have that they're using effectively and see if they match up, because then it's not an extension and doing a different job that they're not hired for. It's just another branch of the skill set that you've actually acquired them for. So I'm going to leave that there just so this doesn't take too long to upload or my phone doesn't cut this halfway because of the storage. But one day that won't be a problem. So I'm going to leave it there and just quick flex. See ya.